Welcome to today's Explainer. You know, for the longest time, our entire experience with artificial intelligence has basically been trapped behind a screen. We type a text prompt and the AI spits a response back onto our monitor. But that boundary? It's officially breaking. Today we're looking at how new humanoid robots and AI systems are stepping completely out of the digital realm and into our physical reality. We're going to explore how machines are actually learning to see, feel, and interact with the physical environment right in front of them, and then we'll see what happens when those perceptive abilities scale up to encompass massive human systems.
Just imagine hearing a machine say this. I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table. Now that is not science fiction anymore. That is actual dialogue from a newly developed humanoid robot created by OpenAI and the startup robotics firm Figure AI. It uses what's known as a visual language model to literally process its physical surroundings in real time. It doesn't just read text, it perceives the actual room it's standing in. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. 1. AI gets a physical body. 2. Designing empathy and connection. 3. Seeing patterns to save lives. 4. Hijacking voices to spread chaos. 5. Autonomous eyes on the border. And finally, 6. Regulating our new AI reality.
Section 1. AI gets a physical body.
All right, so let's look at exactly how this Figure AI robot processes and reasons within a physical space. When a human asks it for something to eat, it doesn't just randomly grab the closest object. Instead, it scans the table, identifies the apple, and deduces that it's the only edible item available. Then it physically picks it up and hands it over. And it goes further. While it's simultaneously cleaning up trash, a human asks where the remaining dishes on the table should go. The robot predicts that the plate and cup likely belong in the drying rack next, and then it physically places them right there. Honestly, it's making it a bit more perceptive than some college roommates. It's constantly learning and evolving its physical understanding of the environment right in front of us.
Part 2. Designing empathy and connection.
Now, a crucial part of how this machine interacts with the physical world is how it communicates with us. We're all pretty used to text-to-speech, right, where an AI essentially reads out a written prompt. But this robot uses speech-to-speech processing. This is a massive stepping stone toward artificial general intelligence. Much like the smart speakers we have in our kitchens, it directly processes the audio of what you're saying, and it responds with audio right back. Why this is an absolute game changer is that it completely removes the translation lag of text. By bypassing text entirely, the AI's physical reaction to you becomes instantaneous. It feels incredibly natural. But listen to the specific traits programmed into this voice. It actually has a slight hoarseness, a bit of vocal fry, which completely mimics human vocal cords. When you ask it to do a task, it responds with super casual US West Coast colloquialisms like "on it." It even includes processing pauses and conversational drag, basically mirroring how you or I might pause to think about a question. These are highly deliberate design choices. We could easily program robots to sound totally robotic and non-human, but choosing to add an accent and vocal fry essentially forces a human connection. It's just a fascinating look into how designers want these physical machines to feel empathetic and approachable as they start to integrate into our daily lives.
Moving on to Section 3. Seeing patterns to save lives.
Now, when we zoom out from a single robot, what's truly staggering is the success rate AI is having in complex environments like hospitals. We're talking about an 80 to 90% correct diagnosis rate for an AI model designed to detect heart defects in newborns. By studying hundreds of video recordings taken from completely different angles and learning from diagnoses made by highly experienced pediatric cardiologists, this AI actually learned to spot the incredibly subtle physical patterns of pulmonary hypertension in 92 newborns. And catching these holes in the heart early, that drastically improves the prognosis.
But it is absolutely critical to understand that this AI is not replacing the human doctor. Instead, it acts as an incredibly perceptive tool for them. It determines the disease severity with 65 to 85% accuracy, which is way better than chance, but more importantly, it shows the human doctor exactly what it's looking at. It essentially highlights the anomaly and tells the doctor, hey, check right here. The final call and any physical human intervention remains entirely in the hands of the medical professionals.
Section 4. Hijacking voices to spread chaos.
Now we have to look at the other side of the coin, specifically this massive financial asymmetry we're seeing in the real world. Audio deepfakes are becoming a crazy potent tool simply because people are naturally less on guard against a phone call than, say, a manipulated video. Recently, a highly convincing AI-generated robocall impersonating Joe Biden was deployed in New Hampshire. It cost the creator just $150 to hire an artist to generate that fake audio. On the flip side, it required $5 million in investigation and resourcing just to track it down and deal with the fallout. That staggering cost difference really shows you just how scalable and cheap this strategy is.
And the strategy behind these deepfakes, which are often utilized by networks of Russian hackers, is deeply psychological. It relies heavily on a concept known as the liar dividend. You see, the goal of election interference using these cheap AI bots actually isn't to change your mind about who to vote for. The real goal is to undermine your trust in the entire process. If literally anything could be a deepfake, you start feeling like you no longer know what to believe. If the public cannot distinguish fact from fiction, they naturally ask, well, what's the point of voting at all? Chaos and apathy are the true objectives here. It's completely designed to make you, the voter, just tune out entirely.
Section 5. Autonomous eyes on the border.
Let's move along and see how this builds when applied to physical geography. Along the U.S. southern border and expanding to other borders right now, there is a network of roughly 1,000 AI-powered autonomous surveillance towers. Because patrolling thousands of miles of border with actual human guards is incredibly difficult and expensive, these machines have been built to constantly survey the landscape. Just like that humanoid robot scanning the table for an apple in our first example, these towers are scanning raw topography. They treat the physical Earth as data to give border guards a unified, comprehensive vision of all unauthorized movement across huge stretches of land.
Now, this represents a massive $6 billion investment slipped right into the Homeland Security budget. But this physical deployment of AI brings up some really significant real-world questions. First, there's just the basic question of practical effectiveness. Will it actually work, or is it a waste of taxpayer money, like we've definitely seen with previous surveillance systems? And secondly, if it does work perfectly, it forces a really tough conversation about the asylum seekers fleeing dangerous countries who cross these treacherous borders as their absolute only option. AI perception doesn't inherently understand human desperation. It just sees movement.
And our final section, 6, regulating our new AI reality.
So how do we handle all this? Well, the European Union recently approved a landmark piece of legislation called the EU AI Act. It basically establishes a level playing field graded by risk. The higher the risk of the AI, the greater the regulation. Under this act, things like predictive policing, social scoring, and real-time facial recognition are outright banned in the EU, though there are a few very strict law enforcement exceptions for things like terrorism. But crucially, it also grants consumers the right to sue for harm. This lays down the first real legal framework for when an AI's physical perceptions actually negatively impact human lives.
And that brings us to the ultimate question we have to ask ourselves as we wrap up this explainer. We started out looking at a highly advanced humanoid robot just learning to perceive a red apple on a plate. But as we've seen, this exact same underlying technology is diagnosing our kids, mimicking our politicians' voices, and physically surveilling our borders. So, as artificial intelligence learns to perceive and interact with our physical world with greater and greater accuracy, how will that ultimately change the way we perceive our own reality? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating topic with me today. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.